Welcome to I Am Jerry channel. Today we will learn together about the article A Journey Through America's Heartland. Emily Harper embarks on a transformative journey across America, exploring diverse landscapes, cultures, and stories. From the Mississippi Delta's blues to New York's vibrant art scene, she discovers the nation's rich tapestry, fostering empathy, creativity, and human connection. Chapter 1. The Call to Adventure. Emily Harper sat at her cluttered desk in the bustling newsroom of the New York Chronicle, tapping her pen against her notebook as she stared at her editor's door. The clamor of ringing phones, the hum of conversation, and the rapid clattering of keyboards created a symphony of chaos that she had grown accustomed to over the years. Yet today, the cacophony felt distant, her mind consumed by a gnawing sense of anticipation. A veteran journalist with a knack for uncovering the human element in every story, Emily had spent the last decade chasing headlines from the gritty streets of the Bronx to the glittering lights of Manhattan. But lately, the city's relentless pace had begun to feel suffocating, the stories blending into a monotonous blur. She yearned for something different, something more profound. Just as she began to lose herself in thought, the door to her editor's office swung open. A towering figure with a gruff voice, Robert Thompson was a man who commanded respect. His gaze locked onto Emily, and with a subtle nod, he beckoned her inside. "Emily, take a seat," Robert said, settling into his chair and motioning for her to do the same. His desk was as cluttered as hers, an eclectic mix of newspapers, photographs, and half-finished coffee mug. "I've got a special assignment for you." Emily's heart quickened. Special assignments from Robert were rare and often transformative. She leaned forward, eager to hear more. "We're planning a series on the heartland of America," Robert began, his voice tinged with a mix of seriousness and excitement. "The real stories, the people who make this country what it is, beyond the headlines and the cliché. I want you to go out there, travel across the Midwest, the South, the forgotten towns, the hidden gems. Find the stories that need to be told." A thrill shot through Emily. This was exactly what she had been longing for, a chance to delve deeper, to explore the uncharted territories of American life. "When do I start?" she asked, barely able to contain her enthusiasm. Immediately, Robert replied with a smile. "Pack your bags, Harper. This is going to be one hell of a journey." Over the next few days, Emily prepared for her adventure with meticulous care. She rummaged through her apartment, packing her trusty Nikon camera, a stack of notebooks, her favorite pens, and a map of the United States marked with potential stops along her route. Her excitement was palpable, mixed with a touch of apprehension as she imagined the vast unknowns stretching out before her. On a crisp morning, Emily stood beside her old but reliable car, affectionately dubbed the Rover, loaded with supplies and ready for the road. She took a deep breath, savoring the moment before climbing into the driver's seat. As the engine roared to life, she felt a surge of freedom, the city skyline shrinking in her rearview mirror as she merged onto the highway. Her first stop was the small town of Ashland, Kansas. The town was a world away from the concrete jungle of New York City, with its wide open spaces, golden fields, and a sky that seemed to stretch on forever. Here, Emily met John Anderson, a third-generation farmer struggling to keep his family's legacy alive amid droughts and economic pressures. His weathered face and calloused hands spoke volumes about a life of toil and perseverance. Over a cup of strong coffee in John's modest kitchen, Emily listened intently to his story. He spoke of the joys and hardships of farm life, the pride of harvesting a good crop, and the heartache of watching the land suffer. He shared tales of community resilience, how neighbors banded together in times of need, embodying the spirit of solidarity that was the backbone of rural America. As she drove away from Ashland, Emily felt a deep sense of purpose. John's story was the first of many she would uncover, each one a unique thread in the rich tapestry of America. The road ahead was long and winding, filled with unknown challenges and discoveries, but Emily was ready. With her notebook open on the passenger seat and a pen in hand, she set off into the heartland, eager to document the echoes of liberty that resonated across the land. Chapter 2. Departure from the Familiar. The morning sun cast a golden hue over the Manhattan skyline, as Emily Harper took one last glance at the city she had called home for over a decade. The bustling streets, the iconic skyscrapers, the ever-present hum of life, it was all she had known since starting her career as a journalist. But today, she stood at the precipice of a new adventure, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Her apartment, usually a whirlwind of clutter, was now neatly packed up. Boxes labeled to keep and to store were stacked against the walls, a testament to the new chapter she was about to begin. Emily's cat, Whiskers, weaved around her legs, sensing the change in the air. She bent down, giving him a final scratch behind the ears before closing the door behind her, a bittersweet farewell to her cozy sanctuary. Outside, the streets buzzed with the morning rush. Emily navigated through the throng of people with practiced ease, her thoughts drifting to the journey ahead. She had always thrived on the pulse of the city, the stories lurking around every corner, but something had shifted. The relentless pace and the sameness of each day had begun to wear on her, and this assignment was a lifeline, a chance to rediscover her passion and connect with the real, unfiltered essence of America. Emily's car, affectionately named the Rover, was parked at the curb, loaded with everything she might need for the cross-country trek. She double-checked her gear camera, notebooks, laptop, and an assortment of pens, and smiled at the sight of a worn-out map of the United States spread across the passenger seat, marked with potential stops. She took a deep breath, savoring the moment before sliding into the driver's seat and starting the engine. As she merged onto the interstate, the cityscape gradually gave way to the sprawling suburbs and then to the open highway. The transition was jarring yet exhilarating. The Rover hummed smoothly beneath her, a loyal companion on this uncharted path. Emily rolled down the windows, letting the fresh air whip through her hair, carrying away the last remnants of city life. Her first destination was clear in her mind: Ashland, Kansas, where she had met John Anderson, the resilient farmer whose story had ignited a spark within her. But before she could reach Ashland, she had hundreds of miles of road stretching out before her, each mile a canvas for new experiences and encounters. The landscape shifted dramatically as she drove. Towering skyscrapers were replaced by vast open fields. The cacophony of car horns and chatter faded into the soothing hum of tires on asphalt. Emily felt a sense of liberation, the road ahead full of endless possibilities. She stopped occasionally at quaint roadside diners and quirky gas stations, each place offering a glimpse into the lives of the people who called these stretches of America home. In Pennsylvania, she encountered a family running a generations-old diner, their walls adorned with black and white photographs and memorabilia from a bygone era. They shared stories of resilience, of how the diner had weathered economic downturns and personal tragedies, becoming a beacon of community spirit. Emily scribbled furiously in her notebook, capturing the essence of their words, their faces, their unwavering hope. As she crossed into Ohio, she found herself drawn to a small, seemingly forgotten town. There, she met an elderly woman named Margaret, who had lived in the same house for over 70 years. Margaret's eyes twinkled with memories as she recounted tales of her youth, of dances in the town square, of watching the world change around her while the town remained a constant in her life. Emily listened, enraptured, realizing that these were the stories that truly mattered, snapshots of life, love, and resilience. By the time she reached Indiana, Emily felt the weight of her journey beginning to lift. She had left behind the familiar confines of New York, but in doing so, she had opened herself up to a world rich with stories waiting to be told. Each stop along the way reinforced her belief in the assignment's purpose, filling her with a renewed sense of determination. As dusk settled over the rolling fields of the Midwest, Emily pulled into a small roadside motel. She checked in, her body weary, but her mind alight with the day's experiences. In her modest room, she spread out her notes and began to write, the words flowing effortlessly as she documented the lives she had touched and been touched by in return. Lying in bed that night, Emily gazed out at the star-studded sky, feeling a profound connection to the vast expanse around her. The journey had just begun, and already it had proven to be more enriching and transformative than she had ever imagined. With a heart full of hope and a spirit ready for the unknown, she drifted into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of the road that lay ahead. Chapter 3. The Whispering Prairies. The sun was just beginning to rise as Emily Harper drove along a narrow country road in Kansas, casting a golden glow over the endless expanse of the prairie. The vastness of the landscape was both humbling and awe-inspiring, a sea of amber waves that seemed to stretch infinitely in every direction. Emily's excitement grew with each passing mile, the stories she had collected so far whispering in her mind like a chorus of voices urging her onward. Her destination was the small town of Ashland, nestled in the heart of the prairie. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the pace of life was dictated by the rhythms of nature and the seasons. Emily had learned of Ashland through a tip from a fellow journalist who spoke of a farmer named John Anderson, a man whose resilience in the face of adversity epitomized the spirit of the American heartland. As she approached Ashland, the road narrowed further, bordered by fields of wheat that swayed gently in the breeze. The town itself emerged gradually from the landscape, a cluster of modest homes, a few storefronts, and a towering grain elevator that stood as a sentinel over the community. Emily felt a sense of anticipation as she parked the Rover in front of a small, weathered house on the outskirts of town. John Anderson greeted her at the door, his weathered face breaking into a warm smile. He was a tall man with a rugged build, his hands calloused from years of labor. He wore a simple plaid shirt and faded jeans, his demeanor unassuming yet imbued with a quiet strength. "Welcome to Ashland, Emily," John said, extending a hand. "I hope you had a good journey." "It was wonderful, thank you," Emily replied, shaking his hand. "I've been looking forward to meeting you." John led her into his home, a cozy, well-lived-in space filled with family photos, antique furniture, and the comforting aroma of fresh brewed coffee. They settled at the kitchen table, and John poured them each a cup, the steam rising in delicate spirals. Emily opened her notebook, ready to capture the nuances of John's story. "Tell me about your farm," she began, her voice soft with genuine curiosity. John leaned back in his chair, his eyes distant as he recalled the history of his land. "This farm has been in my family for 3 generations," he began. "My grandfather settled here during the Dust Bowl. It was a hard life, but he persevered, and the land became our lifeblood." He spoke of the trials and triumphs that had shaped his family's legacy, the years of bountiful harvests that brought prosperity and the devastating droughts that tested their resolve. As he talked, Emily could see the deep connection he had with the land, a bond forged through years of toil and dedication. "The past few years have been particularly tough," John admitted, his voice tinged with sorrow. "The droughts have been relentless, and prices have plummeted. But we keep going. This land is more than just a farm. It's our home, our history." After finishing their coffee, John offered to show Emily around the farm. They stepped outside into the crisp, morning air, the sky a brilliant canvas of blues and golds. John's farm was a sprawling expanse of fields, barns, and silos, each with its own story etched into the landscape. He pointed out the old tractor his grandfather had used, now a rusted relic of a bygone era, and the barn where generations of Andersons had stored their harvest. As they walked, John's love for his land became even more evident. He spoke of the joy of planting seeds and watching them grow, the satisfaction of a successful harvest, and the unspoken bond among the farming community. Emily listened intently, her notebook filling with notes and sketches, capturing the essence of a way of life that was both enduring and fragile. They paused by a field of wheat, the golden stalks rustling softly in the breeze. John bent down and picked a handful, letting the grain slip through his fingers. "This is what it's all about," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "The land gives us everything, and we give everything back to it." Emily felt a profound sense of respect for John and the countless others like him who devoted their lives to nurturing the land. His story was a testament to the resilience and fortitude of the American heartland, a narrative of perseverance and hope that transcended the hardships they faced. As the day drew to a close, John invited Emily to join his family for dinner. She accepted gratefully, eager to immerse herself further in the rhythms of farm life. The meal was a hearty spread of homemade dishes, the flavors rich and comforting. John's wife, Mary, and their two children, Rachel and Sam, shared stories and laughter, their bond evident in the easy camaraderie around the table. Emily felt a sense of belonging among them, a connection that transcended the boundaries of their different lives. The Andersons embodied the spirit of the prairie, humble, hardworking, and unwavering in their commitment to their land and each other. Later, as she settled into the guest room, Emily reflected on the day. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to witness and document the lives of those who often went unnoticed. John's story was just the beginning, a single thread in the rich tapestry of America's heartland. With a heart full of inspiration and a mind buzzing with ideas, Emily drifted off to sleep, the whispering prairie singing a lullaby of resilience and hope. The journey ahead was vast and unknown, but she felt ready to embrace it, eager to uncover the hidden stories that lay in wait across the American landscape. Chapter 4: Hidden Stories in Small Towns. Emily Harper's journey took her deeper into the heart of the Midwest, where small towns dotted the landscape like hidden gems. As she drove through Nebraska, the rolling prairies gave way to charming communities, each with its own unique character and history. Her next stop was the town of Elmwood, a place renowned for its sense of unity and resilience. Elmwood greeted her with a scene straight out of a postcard. The town square was lined with red brick buildings. American flags fluttered in the breeze, and the scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the local bakery. It was a place where everyone knew everyone, and the sense of community was palpable. Emily parked the Rover near the town square and stepped out, taking in the idyllic surroundings. Her contact in Elmwood was Sarah Dawson, the owner of the local bookstore and a well-respected figure in the community. Emily had been intrigued by Sarah's story, a woman who had returned to her hometown after years away to revive her family's business and contribute to the town's resurgence. The bookstore, Dawson's Books and More, was a cozy, inviting space filled with the comforting scent of old books and polished wood. Sarah was waiting at the entrance, a warm smile on her face. She was a woman in her mid-40s, with curly auburn hair and an air of quiet determination. "Welcome to Elmwood, Emily," Sarah greeted her. "I hope you had a pleasant journey." "I did, thank you," Emily replied, shaking Sarah's hand. "Your bookstore is wonderful. I can see why it's such a beloved spot in town." "Thank you. It's been quite a journey getting it to where it is now," Sarah said, leading Emily inside. "Why don't we sit down, and I'll tell you all about it." They settled into a cozy nook near a large window that overlooked the town square. The afternoon sun streamed in, casting a warm glow over the rows of books and the comfortable chairs. Sarah began to share her story, her voice tinged with both nostalgia and pride. "I left Elmwood right after high school," Sarah began, her eyes distant as she recalled her younger days. "I wanted to see the world, to experience life beyond this small town. I lived in New York for a while, then in Chicago. But no matter where I went, I always felt a pull to come back home." Emily listened intently, her pen gliding across her notebook. Sarah's journey was one of self-discovery, of realizing that sometimes the place you try to leave behind is the place where you truly belong. "When my parents passed away, I inherited the bookstore," Sarah continued. "It was struggling then, like many small businesses in town. But I saw it as an opportunity to give back to the community that raised me. I poured everything I had into this place, and slowly but surely, it started to thrive again." Sarah's efforts went beyond just revitalizing the bookstore. She organized community events, book clubs, and literacy programs, turning Dawson's Books and More into a cultural hub for Elmwood. The townspeople rallied around her, their collective spirit breathing new life into the heart of their community. Emily was particularly moved by a story Sarah shared about a young boy named Tommy. "Tommy comes from a troubled background," Sarah said, her voice softening. "His father left, and his mother struggles to make ends meet. He started coming to the bookstore after school, and I noticed he had a real passion for reading. So I began to mentor him, helping him with his homework and encouraging his love for books. Tommy's transformation was a testament to the power of community and the impact of small acts of kindness. Under Sarah's guidance, he blossomed, his grades improved, and he developed a newfound confidence. "He's like a different kid now," Sarah said, her eyes shining with pride. It's moments like these that make all the hard work worth it. After their conversation, Sarah took Emily on a tour of Elmwood. They visited the local diner, where the owner, Betty, greeted them with a hearty laugh and stories of the town's history. They strolled through the park, where children played and elderly couples walked hand in hand, embodying the enduring spirit of the town. The highlight of the tour was the old Elmwood Theater, a beautifully restored Art Deco building that hosted everything from movie nights to community plays. Sarah explained how the town had come together to save the theater from demolition, raising funds and volunteering their time to preserve a piece of their heritage. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over Elmwood, Emily felt a deep sense of connection to the town and its people. She was struck by the way they supported each other, the way they faced challenges with unwavering resolve, and turned their shared struggles into sources of strength. Back at the bookstore, Sarah invited Emily to stay for a book club meeting. The group was a lively mix of ages and backgrounds, united by their love of literature and their bond as a community. They discussed the book of the month, shared personal stories, and laughed together, their camaraderie filling the room with warmth. That night, as Emily settled into her room at the local bed and breakfast, she reflected on the hidden stories she had uncovered in Elmwood. She realized that the true heart of America lay in these small towns, in the everyday lives of people who might never make the headlines but whose stories were no less important. Elmwood had reminded her of the power of community, of the resilience that could be found in the most unexpected places. With her notebook filled with tales of hope and unity, Emily felt more inspired than ever to continue her journey, eager to discover and share the hidden stories that made up the rich tapestry of America's heartland. Chapter 5: Echoes of the Past. The dusty Kansas roads stretched out before Emily Harper, winding through vast plains that seemed to whisper secrets of bygone eras. The landscape had shifted from the lush, green prairies of Nebraska to the more arid, wind-swept terrain of Oklahoma. Emily was en route to an abandoned Dust Bowl-era town she had read about, intrigued by its history and the resilience of those who had once called it home. Her GPS signaled the approach to her destination, and as she turned onto a gravel road, the remnants of the town began to emerge. Weather-beaten signs, dilapidated buildings, and rusting vehicles stood as silent sentinels of a past long gone. The air was thick with a sense of history, the wind carrying faint echoes of the struggles and triumphs that had shaped the town. Emily parked the rover near what appeared to be the town's square, now an overgrown field dotted with wildflowers. She stepped out, the crunch of gravel under her boots breaking the stillness. In the distance, the skeletal frame of a church steeple pierced the sky, a lone reminder of the town's once thriving community. Her contact in the area was an elderly man named Walter Jenkins, one of the few living descendants of the town's original settlers. Walter had agreed to meet Emily and share the stories passed down through generations, stories that painted a vivid picture of life during the Dust Bowl. Emily found Walter sitting on the steps of the old church, his weathered face framed by a wide-brimmed hat. He stood as she approached, offering a firm handshake and a welcoming smile. "You must be Emily," he said, his voice a rich baritone tinged with the drawl of the plains. "Welcome to what's left of Willow Creek." "Thank you, Walter. It's an honor to be here," Emily replied, her notebook ready in hand. "I'm eager to learn about the history of this place." Walter nodded, gesturing for her to sit beside him. "Willow Creek was once a bustling town," he began, his gaze sweeping over the ruins. "My grandparents were among the first settlers here. They came with dreams of prosperity, drawn by the promise of fertile land and a new beginning." He spoke of the early days, when the town thrived on agriculture and a sense of community bound its residents together. But then the Dust Bowl hit, and everything changed. Walter's voice grew somber as he described the relentless dust storms that ravaged the land, turning fertile fields into barren wastelands. The storms were like nothing you could imagine, Walter said, his eyes reflecting the memories etched into his mind. The sky would turn black, and the dust would get into everything. People wore masks just to breathe, and many fell ill. It was a struggle just to survive. Walter's own family had been among those who persevered, their determination and resilience a testament to the human spirit. He recounted stories of neighbors banding together, sharing what little they had, and finding solace in their shared hardship. "We had nothing but each other," Walter said, and sometimes that was enough. As they walked through the town, Walter pointed out landmarks and shared more personal anecdotes. He showed Emily the remains of the schoolhouse where children once laughed and learned, and the general store that had been the town's lifeline. Each ruin held a story, a piece of the collective memory of Willow Creek. They stopped at a small cemetery on the outskirts of town, the headstones worn and weathered but still legible. Walter paused at one in particular, his expression softening. "This is my grandmother's grave," he said quietly. "She was a strong woman, always full of hope, even in the darkest times. She used to say that the dust couldn't take away our spirit." Emily felt a lump in her throat as she listened, deeply moved by the stories of sacrifice and endurance. She could almost see the ghosts of the past, the families who had toiled and dreamed, their lives intertwined with the unforgiving land. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the ruins, Walter led Emily back to the church. They sat on the steps once more, the silence between them filled with the weight of history. "Thank you for sharing these stories with me, Walter," Emily said softly. "They're incredibly powerful." Walter smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "It's important to remember," he said, "to honor those who came before us and to learn from their resilience. We may be gone, but the spirit of Willow Creek lives on in these stories." Emily spent the night at a nearby bed and breakfast, her mind buzzing with the day's experiences. She felt a profound sense of connection to the past, the echoes of Willow Creek resonating deeply within her. The stories of the town were a testament to the strength and perseverance of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable hardship, hope and resilience could endure. The next morning, as she prepared to leave, Emily took one last look at the ruins of Willow Creek. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, determined to share the stories she had uncovered with the world. The journey ahead was still vast and unknown, but she knew that the echoes of the past would guide her, illuminating the hidden stories of America's heartland. With a final wave to Walter, Emily climbed into the rover and set off once more, the open road stretching out before her, a canvas for the countless tales waiting to be told. Chapter 6. Melody of the Mountains. Emily Harper's journey took her westward from the plains of Oklahoma to the rugged beauty of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. As she approached the town of Aspen Ridge, nestled high in the mountains, the towering peaks, blanketed in evergreen forests and crowned with snow, stood as sentinels of nature's grandeur. The air was crisp and invigorating, filled with the scent of pine and the promise of adventure. Aspen Ridge was known for its vibrant arts community, a haven for musicians, artists, and writers who drew inspiration from the stunning surroundings. Emily had heard of a local musician named Ben Rivers, whose soulful melodies were said to capture the very essence of the mountains. Intrigued by his story, she arranged to meet him and learn more about his connection to this majestic landscape. Emily arrived in Aspen Ridge in the late afternoon, the golden light of the setting sun casting long shadows across the town. The streets were lined with quaint shops, art galleries, and cafes, each exuding a cozy charm. She parked the rover near a rustic cafe called Mountain Brew, where she was to meet Ben. The cafe was warm and inviting, with wooden beams and a stone fireplace that crackled softly. The walls were adorned with local artwork, and the air was filled with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Emily spotted Ben at a corner table, his guitar case leaning against the wall beside him. He was a tall, lean man in his early 30s with tousled hair and an easy smile. "Emily, welcome to Aspen Ridge," Ben greeted her, standing to shake her hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you." "Thank you, Ben." It's great to be here, Emily replied, taking a seat. I've heard so much about your music in this amazing town. Ben laughed, a sound as warm and inviting as the cafe itself. Aspen Ridge is a special place. It has a way of inspiring creativity and bringing people together. I'm glad you could come. They ordered coffee, and Ben began to share his story. He spoke of growing up in a small town in Texas, where his love for music was kindled at an early age. I started playing guitar when I was 10, he said, his eyes lighting up with the memory. Music was my escape, my way of expressing what words couldn't. As a young man, Ben traveled extensively, playing in bars and clubs across the country. But it was when he arrived in Aspen Ridge that he truly found his voice. There's something about these mountains, he said, glancing out the window at the towering peaks. They have a presence, a soul. The beauty, the solitude, it all seeps into my music. Ben's compositions were a blend of folk, blues, and country, each piece telling a story of the land and its people. He invited Emily to join him for a walk, promising to show her the places that inspired his songs. They left the cafe and strolled through the town, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the streets. Their first stop was a serene meadow on the outskirts of town, where wildflowers bloomed in a riot of colors and a crystal-clear stream meandered through the grass. Ben took out his guitar and played a hauntingly beautiful melody, the notes rising and falling like the mountains around them. Emily closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her, feeling the deep connection between the land and the sound. This place is my sanctuary, Ben said softly. Whenever I need to clear my mind or find inspiration, I come here. The mountains, the stream, they have a way of speaking to you if you're willing to listen. As they continued their walk, Ben shared more stories of Aspen Ridge. They visited an old mining cabin, a relic of the town's past, where he had written some of his most poignant songs. The cabin, with its weathered wood and rusting tools, was a reminder of the town's history and the indomitable spirit of its early settlers. They also stopped by the community center, where local artists gathered to collaborate and showcase their work. Ben introduced Emily to several of his friends, including a painter named Lily and a poet named Sam. Each of them spoke passionately about how the mountains fueled their creativity and brought them together as a community. That evening, Ben invited Emily to a small concert he was giving at the town's historic theater. The theater, with its rustic charm and intimate atmosphere, was the perfect setting for Ben's soulful melodies. The audience, a mix of locals and visitors, listened in rapt silence as Ben's music filled the room. Emily was deeply moved by the performance, the music resonating with the stories she had heard throughout her journey. Ben's songs spoke of love and loss, of hope and despair, of the beauty and brutality of nature. They were a testament to the power of art to capture the human experience and connect people across time and space. After the concert, Emily joined Ben and his friends for a gathering at the cafe. They shared stories and laughter, their camaraderie, a reflection of the close-knit community that Aspen Ridge had fostered. Emily felt a profound sense of belonging, a connection to the people and the place that transcended her role as a journalist. As she returned to her bed and breakfast that night, Emily reflected on the day's experiences. She was struck by the way the mountains seemed to infuse everything in Aspen Ridge with a sense of purpose and meaning. The town and its people had embraced the challenges and beauty of their environment, transforming them into sources of inspiration and strength. Emily's notebook was filled with notes and sketches, each entry a testament to the vibrant spirit of Aspen Ridge. She knew that the stories she had gathered here would be an integral part of her project, capturing the essence of a community that thrived on creativity and connection. The next morning, as she prepared to leave, Emily took one last look at the mountains that had so deeply touched her heart. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, eager to continue her journey and uncover the hidden stories that lay in wait across the American landscape. With a final wave to the friends she had made, Emily climbed into the rover and set off once more, the open road stretching out before her, a canvas for the countless tales waiting to be told. Chapter 7. The Spirit of the Southwest. Emily Harper's journey led her from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado into the vast, sun-soaked deserts of the American Southwest. Her destination was Santa Fe, New Mexico, a city renowned for its rich cultural tapestry, blending Native American, Hispanic, and Anglo influences. Santa Fe's adobe architecture, vibrant art scene, and unique traditions promised a wealth of stories waiting to be uncovered. As Emily drove through the rugged landscape, the desert stretched out endlessly before her, a panorama of reds, oranges, and yellows. The road wound through mesas and arroyos, the horizon shimmering with heat. It was a land of stark beauty and profound silence, a place where the history of countless generations was etched into the very earth. Emily arrived in Santa Fe in the late afternoon. The city welcomed her with its distinctive adobe buildings, their rounded edges and earthy tones blending seamlessly into the landscape. The air was filled with the scent of peon wood smoke, and the distant sound of a Spanish guitar drifted on the breeze. Santa Fe was alive with color and energy, a vibrant mosaic of cultures and traditions. Her contact in Santa Fe was Maria Chavez, a local historian and curator at the Museum of New Mexico. Maria had deep roots in the area, her family having lived in the region for generations. Emily was eager to learn about the city's history and the stories that had shaped its unique identity. They met at the museum, a stunning building that combined traditional adobe architecture with modern design. Maria was waiting for her in the courtyard, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders and a welcoming smile on her face. She was a woman in her early 50s, with an air of wisdom and warmth. "Emily, welcome to Santa Fe," Maria said, extending a hand. "I'm so glad you could come." "Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be here," Emily replied, shaking her hand. "This city is incredible. I can't wait to learn more about its history." Maria led Emily through the museum, their footsteps echoing softly on the polished floors. They stopped in front of a large mural that depicted the diverse history of the region, from the ancient Pueblo civilizations to the Spanish colonists and beyond. "Santa Fe is one of the oldest cities in the United States," Maria began, her voice filled with pride. "It was founded in 1610, but the history of this land goes back much further. The Pueblo people have lived here for thousands of years, their culture deeply intertwined with the landscape." She spoke of the Pueblo Revolt of 1680, a significant event in which the Native American tribes united to reclaim their land from Spanish colonists. "It was a pivotal moment in our history," Maria explained. "The Pueblo people demonstrated incredible resilience and strength, and their culture continues to thrive today." They moved on to an exhibit showcasing traditional Pueblo pottery, the intricate designs and vibrant colors a testament to the artisan's skill and creativity. Maria explained how these pieces were not just art, but also integral to the Pueblo way of life, each design carrying deep cultural and spiritual significance. After touring the museum, Maria took Emily on a walking tour of the city. They strolled through the historic plaza, the heart of Santa Fe, where vendors sold handcrafted jewelry, pottery, and textiles. The air was filled with the sounds of street musicians and the laughter of children playing in the square. Their next stop was the San Miguel Chapel, the oldest church in the United States, built in the early 1600s. The adobe structure stood as a testament to the enduring faith of the community, its thick walls and simple interior radiating a sense of peace and timelessness. Emily was particularly fascinated by the blend of Native American and Spanish influences that permeated the city. Maria took her to the Palace of the Governors, a historic building that now housed a museum showcasing artifacts from Santa Fe's multifaceted past. They admired the mix of Spanish colonial and Pueblo architectural styles, the building a symbol of the city's rich cultural heritage. In the evening, Maria invited Emily to her family's home for a traditional New Mexican dinner. The Chavez household was warm and welcoming, filled with the aromas of green chile stew and freshly baked tortillas. Maria's family, a mix of elders and children, gathered around the table, their conversation lively and filled with laughter. As they enjoyed the meal, Emily learned more about the traditions that define life in Santa Fe. Maria's grandmother, a diminutive woman with sparkling eyes, shared stories of the old days, her voice rich with the cadence of the Spanish language. She spoke of fiestas and religious ceremonies, of the importance of family and community, and the enduring connection to the land. Emily was deeply moved by the sense of continuity and tradition that permeated the Chavez family stories. She felt honored to be a part of their gathering, to witness the living history that was so integral to their identity. After dinner, Maria and Emily sat on the patio, the sky above them a canvas of stars. The desert night was cool and serene, the silence broken only by the distant call of a coyote. Maria played a soft melody on her guitar, the music blending with the night, creating a moment of perfect harmony. Santa Fe is a place where the past and present coexist, Maria said, her voice soft. Our traditions, our stories, they're what keep our culture alive. It's important to remember where we come from, to honor the spirit of those who came before us. Emily felt a profound sense of gratitude for the opportunity to experience the spirit of Santa Fe. The city, with its rich history and vibrant culture, had touched her deeply, adding another layer to the tapestry of her journey. As she prepared to leave Santa Fe the next morning, Emily reflected on the lessons she had learned. The stories of resilience, tradition, and community that she had encountered in the Southwest would stay with her, guiding her as she continued her journey across America. With a heart full of inspiration and a mind buzzing with new ideas, Emily climbed into the Rover and set off once more. The open road beckoned, a promise of new adventures and hidden stories waiting to be discovered. The spirit of Santa Fe, with its rich cultural tapestry and enduring traditions, would be a guiding light on her path, illuminating the many tales yet to be told. Chapter 8: Silicon Dreams. Emily Harper's journey took a dramatic turn as she left the deserts of New Mexico and headed toward the bustling high-tech landscape of Silicon Valley in California. The contrast between the timeless traditions of Santa Fe and the cutting-edge innovation of Silicon Valley was stark, yet Emily was excited to delve into the world where dreams of the digital age were born and realized. Driving into Silicon Valley, Emily was greeted by a panorama of sleek office buildings, futuristic architecture, and an air of relentless innovation. The roads were filled with electric cars, and everywhere she looked, there were signs of the tech boom, billboards for the latest gadgets, clusters of tech campuses, and cafes buzzing with entrepreneurial energy. The valley was a place where ideas were currency, and the future was being written in code. Her contact in Silicon Valley was Raj Patel, a visionary entrepreneur and CEO of a promising AI startup called Nexa Tech. Raj, originally from a small town in India, had come to the United States with a dream and had quickly risen to become a significant player in the tech world. Emily was intrigued by his story, a tale of ambition, innovation, and the pursuit of transformative ideas. Emily arrived at the Nexa Tech headquarters, a sleek, modern building with expansive glass windows and a minimalist design. The lobby was a hive of activity, with young professionals bustling about, their faces lit by the glow of laptops and smartphones. She was greeted by Raj, a man in his late 30s with sharp features, bright eyes, and an infectious enthusiasm. "Welcome to Nexa Tech, Emily," Raj said, extending a hand. "I'm excited to share our journey with you." "Thank you, Raj. I've heard amazing things about what you're doing here," Emily replied, shaking his hand. "I can't wait to learn more." Raj led Emily through the open-plan office, where teams of engineers, designers, and data scientists worked collaboratively on various projects. The atmosphere was electric, filled with the hum of innovation and the occasional burst of laughter. Large screens displayed real-time data and projections, a testament to the fast-paced nature of the tech world. They settled into a glass-walled conference room with a stunning view of the surrounding valley. Raj began to share his story, describing his journey from a small village in India to the heart of Silicon Valley. "I grew up in a place where opportunities were scarce," he began, his voice tinged with nostalgia. "But I always had a passion for technology and a desire to create something meaningful." Raj spoke of his early days in the valley, the challenges he faced, and the mentors who had guided him. Silicon Valley is a place where dreams are nurtured, he said. But it's also incredibly competitive. You have to be willing to take risks and embrace failure as part of the process. Nexatech was founded on the belief that artificial intelligence could revolutionize industries and improve lives. Raj explained their current projects, including a groundbreaking AI system designed to enhance healthcare diagnostics. Our goal is to use AI to assist doctors in making more accurate diagnoses, he said, his eyes lighting up with passion. It's about augmenting human capability, not replacing it. Emily was fascinated by the technological advancements and the potential they held. She asked Raj about the ethical considerations of AI, topic that was gaining increasing attention. Raj acknowledged the importance of responsible innovation. We have a responsibility to ensure that our technology is used ethically, he said. That's why we have a dedicated team working on ethical AI practices, ensuring transparency and fairness in our algorithms. After their discussion, Raj invited Emily to join him for a tour of their innovation lab, where the latest prototypes and technologies were being developed. The lab was a futuristic space filled with cutting-edge equipment, 3D printers, and collaborative workstations. Engineers demonstrated various projects, from advanced robotics to virtual reality applications. One project that particularly caught Emily's attention was an AI-driven wearable device designed to assist visually impaired individuals. The device used sensors and machine learning to provide real-time audio feedback, helping users navigate their environment more safely. Raj explained the potential impact of this technology, emphasizing its ability to enhance independence and quality of life. As the day progressed, Emily also met with other key figures at Nexatech, including Maya, a lead data scientist, and Ethan, a product manager. They shared their experiences of working in the tech industry, the excitement of bringing ideas to life, and the challenges of staying ahead in a rapidly evolving field. Each conversation added depth to Emily's understanding of the vibrant and dynamic ecosystem that was Silicon Valley. In the evening, Raj invited Emily to a networking event hosted at a nearby tech incubator. The event was a lively gathering of entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators, all eager to exchange ideas and forge new connections. Emily mingled with the attendees, listening to their stories and aspirations. She was struck by the sense of community and collaboration, the way people supported and inspired each other in their pursuit of innovation. The highlight of the evening was a panel discussion featuring some of the Valley's most influential figures, including Raja. They discussed the future of technology, the importance of diversity in innovation, and the need to balance ambition with ethical considerations. The conversation was thought-provoking and inspiring, offering a glimpse into the minds of those shaping the future. As Emily returned to her hotel that night, she felt a profound sense of admiration for the spirit of Silicon Valley. It was a place where dreams were turned into reality, where innovation and creativity flourished. The stories she had heard were a testament to the power of perseverance, collaboration, and the relentless pursuit of progress. The next morning, as she prepared to leave, Emily reflected on the journey ahead. Silicon Valley had added a new dimension to her project, highlighting the intersection of technology and humanity. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, eager to continue exploring the diverse stories that made up the American landscape. With her notebook filled with insights and her mind buzzing with inspiration, Emily climbed into the rover and set off once more. The open road stretched out before her, a canvas for the countless tales waiting to be told. The spirit of Silicon Valley, with its dreams and innovations, would be a guiding light on her path, illuminating the many stories yet to be discovered. Chapter 9: Delta Blues. Emily Harper's journey through America continued southward, taking her into the heart of the Mississippi Delta, where the soulful strains of blues music echoed through the cotton fields and bayous. The Delta was a region steeped in history and culture, where the rhythms of the river and the legacy of African American heritage intertwined to create a powerful and enduring musical tradition. Driving along the backroads of Mississippi, Emily marveled at the expansive fields of cotton and the slow-moving waters of the Mississippi River. The landscape was lush and green, dotted with small towns that seemed frozen in time. She passed roadside juke joints and old wooden shacks, each bearing witness to the Delta's rich musical legacy. Her contact in the Delta was Elijah Johnson, a blues musician and storyteller who had grown up in the region. Elijah was renowned for his soulful voice and his ability to capture the essence of Delta blues, a genre born out of hardship and resilience. Emily was eager to hear his stories and learn about the enduring impact of blues music on American culture. Emily arrived in Clarksdale, Mississippi, a town that proudly proclaimed itself as the crossroads of the blues. The streets were lined with murals depicting legendary musicians like Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters, their haunting melodies echoing through the air. She found Elijah performing at a local juke joint called Mississippi Delta Blues Bar, its weathered facade a testament to its storied past. Inside, the juke joint was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of sweat, whiskey, and the unmistakable sound of a blues guitar. The walls were adorned with vintage posters and photos of blues legends, their impassioned faces staring down at patrons as if keeping watch over their musical legacy. Elijah Johnson, a tall man with weathered hands and a voice like gravel and honey, greeted Emily warmly. He wore a worn denim jacket and a fedora tilted at a rakish angle. His eyes twinkled with the wisdom of someone who had lived and breathed the blues his entire life. "Welcome to Clarksdale, Emily," Elijah said, his voice resonating with warmth. "I'm glad you could make it. You ready to hear some stories?" Emily nodded eagerly, taking a seat near the small stage. The juke joint was filled with locals and visitors alike, drawn by the promise of authentic Delta blues. Elijah launched into a set of songs that spoke of love, loss, and the struggles of everyday life in the Delta. His guitar wailed and moaned, capturing the raw emotion of the blues. Between songs, Elijah shared stories of growing up in the Delta, where music was a way of life. He spoke of late-night jam sessions in smoky juke joints, of musicians passing down songs and techniques through generations. "Blues is more than just music," Elijah explained. "It's a language, a way of expressing the highs and lows of life. It's about finding beauty in the pain." After his set, Elijah invited Emily to join him for a tour of the Delta's musical landmarks. They visited the Dockery Plantation, often called the birthplace of the blues, where legends like Charlie Patton and Howlin' Wolf had honed their craft amidst the cotton field. The plantation, now a quiet and hauntingly beautiful place, seemed to resonate with the echoes of music that had once filled the air. Next, they stopped by the famous Crossroads, a rural intersection near Clarksdale, where, according to legend, bluesman Robert Johnson had sold his soul to the devil in exchange for his extraordinary musical talent. The atmosphere was charged with myth and mystery, the crossroads symbolizing the intersection of tradition and innovation in Delta blues. Elijah also took Emily to visit the grave sites of blues legends in the small, rural cemeteries scattered throughout the Delta. They paid their respects to musicians whose music had shaped the course of American music history, their headstones simple yet poignant reminders of their enduring legacy. In the evenings, Emily joined Elijah and other local musicians for jam sessions at various juke joints and blues clubs. The music flowed freely, each musician adding their own unique flair to the timeless rhythms of the Delta blues. Emily felt a deep connection to the music and its roots, understanding how the Delta's landscape and history had shaped its distinctive sound. One night, Elijah took Emily to a juke joint on the outskirts of Clarksdale, where an elderly bluesman named Big Joe Turner was performing. Big Joe was a living legend, his deep, soulful voice resonating with decades of experience. He sang songs that spoke of the Delta's struggles and triumphs, his presence a testament to the enduring power of blues music. As Emily listened to Big Joe's powerful vocals and the soulful wail of his harmonica, she felt transported to another time and place. The juke joint seemed to fade away, leaving only the music and the stories it told. It was a moment of pure connection, where the lines between past and present blurred, and the essence of the Delta blues came alive. In the quiet moments between performances, Emily and Elijah would sit on the porch of Elijah's modest home, sipping sweet tea and reflecting on the stories they had heard and shared. Elijah spoke of his hopes for the future of Delta blues, of passing on the tradition to the next generation. Emily listened, grateful for the opportunity to experience the Delta's rich cultural heritage firsthand. As her time in the Delta drew to a close, Emily knew that the stories she had gathered here would stay with her forever. The music, the history, and the resilience of the people she had met had left an indelible mark on her soul. She felt honored to have witnessed the living legacy of Delta blues, to have been welcomed into a community where music was more than entertainment, it was a way of life. With a heart full of gratitude and a notebook filled with memories, Emily bid farewell to Clarksdale and the Mississippi Delta. As she drove away, the haunting melodies of the blues lingered in her mind, a reminder of the enduring power of music to transcend time and place. The road ahead stretched out before her, winding through America's diverse landscapes and cultures, each mile promising new stories waiting to be discovered. Chapter 10: City of Contrast. Emily Harper's exploration of America took her to the vibrant and eclectic cityscape of New York City. From the soulful rhythms of the Mississippi Delta, she now found herself amidst the towering skyscrapers, bustling streets, and diverse neighborhoods that defined the Big Apple. New York City was a melting pot of cultures, a place where dreams were pursued against a backdrop of constant movement and change. Arriving in Manhattan, Emily was immediately struck by the energy of the city. The streets buzzed with activity, the air filled with the aroma of street vendors' food, and the sounds of different languages mingled in a symphony of urban life. Emily's first stop was a historic brownstone in Greenwich Village, where she was to meet her next contact, Sophia Chen, a celebrated artist whose work explored themes of identity and urban life. Sophia welcomed Emily into her studio, a spacious loft filled with colorful canvases, sculptures, and installations. The walls were adorned with Sophia's bold and thought-provoking artwork, each piece a reflection of the city's dynamic spirit and the complexities of modern life. "Welcome to New York, Emily," Sophia greeted her with a warm smile. "I'm thrilled to share my perspective with you." "Thank you, Sophia. Your work is incredible," Emily replied, admiring the vibrant colors and intricate details of Sophia's latest creation. Over tea, Sophia shared her journey as an artist navigating the vibrant art scene of New York City. She spoke of her upbringing in Chinatown, where she had been immersed in the rich cultural tapestry of the neighborhood. "Growing up here shaped my identity and my art," Sophia explained. "New York is a city of contrasts, wealth and poverty, tradition and innovation, old and new. My work is about exploring those contrasts and finding beauty in the chaos." Emily was fascinated by Sophia's insights into the city's cultural diversity and the way it influenced artistic expression. Sophia took her on a tour of Chinatown, where narrow streets were lined with bustling markets, temples, and restaurants offering a glimpse into the neighborhood's rich history and traditions. They visited the Museum of Chinese in America, where Sophia's artwork was featured in a special exhibition exploring the immigrant experience in New York City. The museum showcased artifacts, photographs, and personal stories that traced the contributions of Chinese immigrants to the city's cultural mosaic. In Harlem, Emily explored the vibrant neighborhood known for its pivotal role in African American history and culture. She met with Malik Johnson, a community organizer and activist who shared his experiences of advocating for social justice and equality in the face of systemic challenges. Malik took Emily to iconic landmarks like the Apollo Theater, where legendary musicians had launched their careers and where the vibrant legacy of Harlem's artistic and cultural renaissance continued to thrive. They visited community centers and local businesses, where residents shared their stories of resilience and determination in the face of adversity. In Brooklyn, Emily immersed herself in the borough's thriving art scene, visiting galleries, studios, and performance spaces that showcased a diverse array of artistic expressions from avant-garde installations to street art murals that transformed the city's landscape. One evening, Emily found herself in the heart of Times Square, where the neon lights and digital billboards illuminated the night sky. The square pulsed with life, tourists snapping photos, street performers entertaining crowds, and theaters showcasing Broadway's finest productions. Emily attended a performance of a groundbreaking play at a small theater in the East Village, where emerging playwrights explored pressing social issues and challenged conventional narrative. The play was a poignant reflection of the city's ever-changing landscape and the struggles faced by its inhabitants. Throughout her time in New York City, Emily was struck by the resilience and creativity of its residents, each with their own story to tell. She met artists, activists, entrepreneurs, and everyday people who embodied the city's spirit of innovation and determination. As her journey through America's diverse landscapes and cultures drew to a close, Emily reflected on the myriad stories she had encountered, from the soulful rhythms of the Mississippi Delta to the vibrant tapestry of New York City's streets. Each chapter had offered a glimpse into the rich tapestry of American life, revealing the resilience, diversity, and boundless creativity that defined the nation. With a heart full of memories and a mind enriched by the stories she had gathered, Emily prepared to return home. The road ahead was filled with the echoes of the people she had met and the places she had explored, a testament to the power of storytelling to bridge divides and celebrate the shared human experience. As she boarded the rover for the final leg of her journey, Emily knew that her adventure across America had been more than just a series of destinations. It had been a transformative odyssey, a celebration of the myriad voices that shaped the nation's identity. And as the miles rolled by, she carried with her the stories of America, a tapestry woven from the threads of its people's lives. Chapter 11: Echoes of the Pacific. Emily Harper's journey across America culminated in the serene and expansive landscapes of the Pacific Northwest. From the bustling streets of New York City, she now found herself surrounded by towering forests, rugged coastlines, and the tranquil beauty of the Pacific Ocean. This chapter of her adventure would be a reflection on nature's grandeur and the stories hidden within its quiet solitude. Arriving in Seattle, Washington, Emily was immediately captivated by the city's blend of urban sophistication and natural splendor. The Space Needle towered above the skyline, its futuristic design juxtaposed against the backdrop of the snow-capped Cascade and Olympic Mountains. She checked into a quaint bed and breakfast near Pike Place Market, a bustling hub of local artisans, farmers, and fishermen. Her contact in Seattle was Dr. Jonathan Lewis, a marine biologist and conservationist dedicated to studying and preserving the region's marine ecosystems. Emily had long been fascinated by the interconnectedness of nature and humanity, and she was eager to explore the Pacific Northwest's rich biodiversity and the efforts to protect it. Dr. Lewis welcomed Emily to his research station on Puget Sound, where they embarked on a journey to study the resident orca whale population. They boarded a research vessel and set out across the deep blue waters, the salty breeze carrying the scent of seaweed and saltwater. As they approached a pod of orcas, Emily marveled at the majestic creatures, sleek black and white giants gliding effortlessly through the water. Dr. Lewis explained the importance of their research in understanding the orca's behavior, migration patterns, and the threats they faced from pollution, climate change, and dwindling food sources. Emily participated in data collection, using hydrophones to listen to the orca's vocalizations and underwater cameras to capture their graceful movements. She was struck by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest's marine life and the delicate balance that sustained it. Back on land, Emily explored Olympic National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its diverse ecosystems from temperate rainforests and alpine meadows to rugged coastline. She hiked through ancient forests of towering cedar and fir trees, their moss-covered branches creating a cathedral-like atmosphere. At Ruby Beach, Emily stood in awe of the dramatic coastline, where sea stacks rose like sentinels from the crashing waves. The sound of seagulls and the salty tang of the ocean air enveloped her as she walked along the shoreline, collecting smooth, polished stones and shells worn by the relentless tide. In the San Juan Islands, Emily joined a whale-watching tour led by local naturalists. They encountered a pod of playful dolphins leaping in the boat's wake and glimpsed the majestic flukes of humpback whales diving deep beneath the surface. Each sighting was a reminder of the Pacific Northwest's fragile marine ecosystems and the urgent need for conservation efforts. Emily also explored Seattle's vibrant cultural scene, visiting the Seattle Art Museum to admire Native American artworks and contemporary exhibits that celebrated the region's rich artistic heritage. She attended a performance of traditional Native American storytelling and dance, where elders shared stories of their ancestors and the spiritual connection to the land and sea. One evening, Emily joined Dr. Lewis for a community gathering at a local tribal longhouse, where members of the Coast Salish tribes shared their traditions and knowledge of the natural world. They spoke of the orcas as their kin, guardians of the sea who held wisdom passed down through generations. As her time in the Pacific Northwest drew to a close, Emily felt a deep sense of reverence for the region's natural beauty and the people who called it home. The stories she had gathered from orcas gliding through the sound to ancient forests whispering with the secrets of centuries spoke of a profound connection to the land and sea. As she prepared to depart for home, Emily knew that her journey across America had been a transformative experience, a tapestry woven from the diverse landscapes, cultures, and stories that defined the nation. The Pacific Northwest had left an indelible mark on her soul, reminding her of the importance of preserving and honoring the natural world for future generations. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind enriched by the stories she had gathered, Emily boarded the rover for the final leg of her journey. As she drove along the winding coastal highways, the echoes of the Pacific Northwest lingered in her thoughts, a testament to the enduring power of nature's beauty and the stories it inspired. Chapter 12: Reflections and Homecoming. Emily Harper's journey across America had been a transformative odyssey, spanning from the sun-drenched deserts of the Southwest to the rugged coastlines of the Pacific Northwest. Now, as she embarked on the final chapter of her adventure, Emily found herself reflecting on the myriad stories and experiences that had shaped her understanding of the nation and herself. Leaving behind the serene landscapes of the Pacific Northwest, Emily set her course eastward, towards the familiar landscapes of her home state. The miles rolled by beneath the rover's wheels, each passing town and landmark a reminder of the diverse tapestry of America she had traversed. Along the way, Emily revisited places she had encountered earlier in her journey, small towns where community bonds ran deep, cities where innovation and creativity flourished, and natural wonders that stirred the soul. Each place held memories of the people she had met, the stories she had heard, and the lessons she had learned about resilience, diversity, and the shared human experience. As she crossed state lines and watched the landscape change from mountains to plains, Emily found herself drawn to the moments of connection she had experienced throughout her journey. She recalled the spirited conversations with Raj in Silicon Valley, the soulful blues performances with Elijah in the Mississippi Delta, the artistic explorations with Sophia in New York City, and the profound encounters with nature in the Pacific Northwest. In each chapter of her journey, Emily had been welcomed into communities and embraced by people who had generously shared their stories and perspectives. She had witnessed the resilience of individuals and communities facing challenges, the creativity of artists and innovators pushing boundaries, and the profound beauty of America's natural landscape. Arriving back in her hometown, Emily felt a sense of fulfillment and gratitude for the journey she had undertaken. She unpacked her belongings, carefully placing the notebooks filled with stories, sketches, and reflections on her desk. Each page was a testament to the diversity and complexity of America, a mosaic of voices and experiences that had woven together to form a deeper understanding of the nation's identity. In the days that followed, Emily shared her journey with friends, family, and colleagues, recounting the stories she had gathered and the lessons she had learned along the way. She organized photo exhibitions and storytelling sessions, inviting others to experience the richness of America's landscapes, cultures, and communities through her eyes. As she flipped through her sketches and notes, Emily realized that her journey across America had not only been about exploring new places, it had been a journey of self-discovery and growth. She had learned to listen deeply, to embrace diversity, and to appreciate the interconnectedness of human experiences across vast distances and diverse backgrounds. In the quiet moments of reflection, Emily found herself inspired to continue exploring and sharing stories, whether through writing, art, or community engagement. Her journey had ignited a passion for storytelling and a commitment to fostering empathy and understanding through the power of narrative. As she stood in her backyard one evening, watching the sun set over familiar hills, Emily felt a profound sense of connection to her homeland, to the people she had met along the way, and to the stories that had touched her heart. The road ahead stretched out before her, filled with endless possibilities and new adventures waiting to be discovered. With a renewed sense of purpose and a deep appreciation for the journey she had undertaken, Emily Harper embraced the next chapter of her life. Armed with memories, lessons, and the spirit of exploration, she knew that her journey across America had been just the beginning, a prelude to a lifetime of curiosity, discovery, and storytelling. And as the stars twinkled overhead, Emily whispered a silent thank you to the vast and diverse tapestry of America, a land of dreams, resilience, and infinite stories waiting to be told. Chapter 13. Epilogue. The journey continues. Emily Harper's journey across America had been a tapestry woven from the threads of diverse landscapes, cultures, and story. As she reflected on the transformative odyssey that had taken her from coast to coast, Emily realized that her adventure was not merely a series of destinations, it was a journey of discovery, connection, and personal growth. Returning home had been a time of introspection for Emily. She found herself revisiting the notebooks filled with sketches, reflections, and stories from her travels. Each page held memories of the people she had met, their hopes, struggles, and dreams, and the landscapes that had left an indelible mark on her soul. In the weeks that followed, Emily shared her experiences with friends, family, and community members, organizing exhibitions and storytelling events to bring the stories of America's diverse tapestry to life. She found joy in connecting with others through the power of narrative, inspiring conversations about empathy, understanding, and the beauty of human diversity. As Emily delved deeper into her passion for storytelling, she began to explore new avenues for sharing her experiences. She wrote articles and essays, capturing the essence of her journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. Her work resonated with readers who were eager to embark on their own journeys of discovery and connection. Inspired by her time in Silicon Valley, Emily collaborated with technologists and innovators to explore the intersection of storytelling and technology. Together, they developed interactive platforms and virtual reality experiences that allowed audiences to immerse themselves in the landscapes, cultures, and stories of America. In the spirit of her time in the Mississippi Delta, Emily partnered with artists and musicians to celebrate the power of creativity and expression. She curated exhibitions and performances that showcased the diversity of American art forms, from blues music to contemporary visual arts, that continued to inspire and captivate audiences. Drawing on her experiences in New York City, Emily engaged with community leaders and activists to amplify voices that were often marginalized or unheard. She advocated for social justice and equality, using her platform to raise awareness about issues affecting communities across the country. And inspired by the natural beauty of the Pacific Northwest, Emily collaborated with environmentalists and conservationists to promote sustainability and stewardship of America's natural landscape. Together, they worked to protect wildlife habitats, preserve biodiversity, and mitigate the impacts of climate change. Through it all, Emily Harper remained committed to her journey of exploration and discovery, a journey that had ignited a passion for storytelling, empathy, and the power of human connection. Her odyssey across America had been a testament to the resilience, diversity, and boundless creativity that defined the nation. As she looked towards the future, Emily knew that her journey was far from over. Armed with memories, lessons, and a deep appreciation for the stories that had shaped her, she embarked on new adventures, eager to continue exploring and sharing the rich tapestry of America's landscapes, cultures, and communities. And as she drove the rover along winding roads and open highways, the echoes of her journey reverberated in her heart, a reminder of the countless stories waiting to be told, the connections waiting to be forged, and the journey waiting to unfold. With each mile, Emily Harper embraced the promise of the open road, the promise of discovery, of understanding, and of the endless possibilities that lay ahead.